Morning, good morning. You join me in Suffolk. I'm just started cycling the Wolf Way. Started off in Cambridge this morning where we camped in our camper van, and then I caught the train from Cambridge to Bury St Edmunds, and I've been riding for about 40 minutes and currently in the village of Cockfield. It's a nice day. It's a bit cold. It's a bit cold start this morning. It was about 6 degrees, but so far it's going really well. Been quite a bit of road, not much gravel, but hopefully there's more gravel to come. This is the Wolf Way, and over the last couple of years I've been riding the King Alfred's Way, the Canty Way, the Rebellion Way and the Kernow Way in Cornwall, and these rides are something special. It's a chance to get out of the house, get away from the wife, get away from the missus, and just me, the bike, a bit of sunshine, and it's a bit of me time. Looks like the first bit of gravel for the day is coming up. Whenever you see a dead-end road, it kind of means that there must be gravel at the end of it. In the shaded sections, it's quite cold. The van temperature said 6 degrees this morning when I got up, about 6 o'clock. The Garmin's saying it's about 10 at the moment. It's a beautiful day. The ground's quite dry for ploughing. One of the reasons I like doing these rides is finding little sites like this, little bits of history. And it seems that a B-17 American bomber crashed here in March 1944. The crew unfortunately died. There seemed to be a fault on takeoff. Fantastic little bit of single track here. It's been going on for about 2 or 3 miles. So this is the pretty town of Lavenham. Just had lunch at a little restaurant and it was pretty awful. Had a chili and had a bacon and brie toastie. Well, it was hunt the bacon. Never mind. The cycling's been fantastic. So back on the route now. And unfortunately the sun's gone in. It's been baking warm all morning, but as soon as I got my legs out, legs for proof, the sun's gone in and it's gone a little bit chilly. So hopefully the rain's going to hold off. It's been a tailwind and a headwind on and off all day. We've got a fantastic headwind at times and a block headwind at another time. At the moment we've got a bit of old railway line. One of the biggest problems has been the sun and the shade. On the rougher sections it's hard to pick out the tree roots and the rocks. But there's been nothing technical yet. In fact, you could say it's all been champagne gravel really. And it's been a good mix of single track, bit of tracks like this, concrete farm tracks. Yeah, perhaps a bit too much road, but you've got to do the road to link these pieces up. So it's 1 o'clock, about exactly halfway through the day. So we're ticking along quite nicely. Hi there. The trails have been beautifully dry. You can imagine that some of these tracks along the field edges would be an absolute nightmare in wet weather. The soil is quite claggy, so I can imagine it would stick to everything. But today, or in mid-September, the conditions are near perfect. Perhaps now is a good time to talk a little bit about the bike I'm riding. This is my trusty Topstone 105. I've had this for a couple of years and it's a jack of all trades. I use it as a gravel bike, as a touring bike, as a winter bike, and a commuting bike. It's nothing flash, nothing technical, but it's a trusty workhorse. It really, really is. Just stopped for a bit of liquid refreshment. Good old Premier Inn for the night. So the bike's nicely tucked in for the night. Great thing about Premier Inn, you can actually bring the bike into the room, as long as it's not too dirty, and it has been dry today, so the bike is not too bad here. And this is the glamorous side of bike packing. I managed to rinse out my clothes in the sink, and now rigged up a drying rack. They're almost dry already, actually. Just hope nobody from Premier Inn's watching. All right, cheers now, bye. So this is day 2 of the Wolf Way. So welcome to Ipswich. It's about 8:30 in the morning, Friday the 13th. So hopefully that doesn't mean anything. It's another chilly start, but it's looking like it's going to be an absolutely beautiful day. We'll have a recap of day 1 in a minute. Find a suitable spot in the sun. This is the pretty little village of Levington, just outside Ipswich. I've been riding for about, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes. Ipswich was awful. The docks and the marina area is beautiful, but the route through the city centre was awful. Bike lanes that stopped and start, buses that entered the bus lanes, bus stops in bus lanes. One bus I had to bang on the side because it was chopping me up, yeah, and pushing me into the curb. Altogether, riding through Ipswich wasn't a very nice experience. Wow, just had a fantastic chat to the guy cutting the grass in the graveyard. You can hear him now. He was telling me that there's a bike ride around Suffolk tomorrow, around all the churches in Suffolk, and they're hoping to raise £200,000 for charity just from riding around all the churchyards. Yeah, just a quick recap on yesterday, I guess, would be a useful thing to do. So set off from Brace Edmonds about 9 o'clock yesterday morning. The route was quite good. No real problems, quiet roads, a bit of single track, a bit of bicycle track, a bit of old railway lines. Nothing technical whatsoever at all. Some of the road sections were quite long and quite laborious. One of the things that I would note is that some of the off-road sections were along the edge of fields, and the last few days have been damp but not really heavily rained, and even though the ground is quite dry, this mud was sticking to the tyres of my bike. In wet weather, wet conditions, that mud would be awful. It would gum up the tyres, the gears, gum up everything. So probably on those sections are probably best avoided in really wet weather. Been riding about 10 miles already this morning and haven't had a single bit of gravel yet. So it's been 10 miles of road straight out of the bag. A little bit disappointing. There was warnings of sand on this section, but there's been no off-road riding at all. Just as I was complaining about the lack of gravel, we get our first bit of gravel of the day. About 12-15 miles into the day. It's hard to believe that this is just around the corner from the biggest container docks in the UK. Literally just around this corner here is Felixstowe docks, and you just wouldn't believe it. What a beautiful spot this is. This is the busiest docks in the UK. It looks very, very quiet. There's no movement at all. So I've made it to Felixstowe. We are 23 miles in today with another 43 to go. Staying in a place called Thurberton tonight. So today it's Ipswich to Thurberton, about 68 miles. We've had a tailwind most of the morning, but I don't know if you can hear the wind on the camera. But now it's going to be a strong headwind for the rest of the day. It's bright and sunny, but a little bit cool in the wind. I wonder what the taped drain cover's about. They often do that for cycle racing. There was a summer series of crit races. I wonder. So this is Bawdsey Ferry, just across the River Deben, I think. Beautiful, beautiful spot. £4 to cross, and the ferry was just there waiting for me. This might be the first bit of sand. It's not too bad because there's been a bit of rain the day before and it's quite compacted, so it is pretty easy going at the moment, but hey, that can all change in an instant. I think it might just have done. I'm going to put the camera away now and ride two-handed because I can't ride in sand one-handed, that's for sure. Several kilos of prime bacon here. They've got great conditions. Dry, looking nice and clean. More than can be said for the track. It's now just deep sand, really soft, really dry. But we'll plough on, literally plough on. So this is Orford Castle. I know nothing about it other than that it's run by English Heritage. This is Orford Quay. One thing I haven't talked about is elevation, and that is there isn't any. On day one there's some bit of undulation towards Ipswich, but other than that it was pretty much flat, and today it's been flat all the time. There's been no elevation to speak of at all. One thing I haven't talked about is tyre choice. With so much road sections, you could almost get away with 35C tyres, but some of the sandy sections today have meant my Pirelli 40s have been absolutely perfect. I bought them earlier in the year and they've proven to be much better than the previous WT Riddlers I had on. They were good on the road sections, but whenever the going got a little bit softer, a little bit sticky, I struggled. But these Pirellis, they're the gravel M's, have been absolutely perfect for this trip. They roll okay on the open roads, and in the sand in Rendlesham Forest they were a dream. This was signposted as a footpath, but I can see lots of bikes have been through here. Definitely in the second half of today there's been more off-road sections. It's nice and dry through here. I could imagine it would be a completely different experience if it was wet. I don't know what it is with Cycling UK, but they must have a fascination with nuclear power stations. I'm now at, as you can see, Sizewell B power station, but when I did the Canty Way back in May, that literally looped around Dungeness power station. It's near the end of the day and it has been a great day. It's been a lot more gravel this afternoon, Much more gravel than yesterday. I'm on a last bit of gravel here back to the hotel, or back to the pub. Morning and welcome to day 3 of the Wolf Way. Last night I stayed in a small village called Thurberton, not far from Sizewell C power station. Had a good night's sleep, yeah, a good meal last night, a pint of the local brew, which is great. And you find me now, it's about 8:30 in the morning, in RSPB Minsmere. I think I've got that right. Hopefully I've got that right. I'm sure somebody will correct me if I haven't. It's a little bit chilly in the shade, 7 degrees the Garmin's saying, but out here on the heathland, I guess, above the RSPB reserve, it is absolutely glorious. It's a bit of a shorter, flatter today, 61 miles and about 1,200 feet of climbing, so it's going to be absolutely pan flat. Up the coast to Dunwich, then on to Lowestoft, a loop around Lowestoft, and tonight's stay is in Mendham. We have 3 main goals with our channel. One is to get to 1,000 subscribers. Secondly, to make £1 or just $1 from ad revenue, and most crucially of all, is to prove our grown-up sons wrong and prove to them that we can actually do this. So if you want to help us in those 3 goals, please subscribe and like this video. Thank you. Morning. I'm just outside Dunwich and I've stumbled across Greyfriars Medieval Friary. Have a quick wander around. I've got plenty of time today. The Dunwich Dynamo is an overnight bike ride that leaves London each July and arrives here in Dunwich in the morning. It's definitely on my cycling bucket list. Thankfully on this ride there hasn't been too many gates. This is probably about the 3rd gate I've come across. Time to strip off. The sun's well and truly up and I'm beginning to cook, so let's strip off. So that's better, all stripped off and ready for the next section. I think this is Walberswick. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. This is a bizarre stretch. I almost feel that I shouldn't be riding through here. It's like riding through somebody's boatyard. This morning has been more gravel than perhaps the rest of the ride put together. It's been really nice sections of gravel. Had a rutted section across a moorland there, which is quite interesting, quite spicy. But here we are at Southwold. It's now 10:30. I've been messing around this morning, yeah, so I need to crack on now and put in some miles, get to Lowestoft, just in case the route and the tracks get more difficult. There's some kind of fun run on here this morning. Oh, made it to Lowestoft. It's been a great morning, about 30 miles, just short of halfway this morning. And what was a headwind yesterday has turned into a fantastic tailwind this morning. Made really good time. The stretch from Southwold to Lowestoft has been pretty good. Good bit of gravel track, some sections of road, but the sections of road seem to link the gravel up. And now the mission is to find an ice cream. The sun's really truly come out now. The difference in temperature is just unbelievable from this morning. When I set off from Thurberton about 8 o'clock, the Garmin said 6-7 degrees, and now we're up in here 20 degrees. Hopefully this is the cycle route, and hopefully this is the UK's most easterly point, Nest Point. I've cycled to the most northerly point, John O'Groats. I've cycled to the most westerly point, Land's End, and the southerly point, the Lizard Peninsula. So I've been to all 4 corners of the UK by bike. So it's mission accomplished with the ice cream, and now we're riding on the North Sea cycle route, heading north out of Lowestoft, about to turn west and start heading inland to Mendham, tonight's accommodation. It's 30 miles to go, 34 miles done. The sun is out. It's an absolutely beautiful day. There are a lot of sections along field boundaries just like this one. It's fantastic at the moment in the dry weather, but when it's wet I'm not sure they'd be even passable. It's nearly the end of the day, the sun's getting low in the sky. It's been a good day. Started off with a lot of gravel, but the gravel's got gradually less and less since Lowestoft. The loop to Beccles seemed a bit pointless really. It was a lot of road section there, and it's been a lot of road section backwards. There was one section of off-road along field boundaries again, but that was unbelievably rough. It was hadn't had much use, and there was no clear path. Hi. So you're riding along the edge of the field where it had been recently cultivated, so it was juddering all the time. Not a pleasant bit of riding. So 58 miles so far today, with another 5 to run. Good morning. It's day 4 of the Wolf Way. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I've literally just set off, had a fantastic breakfast and a good night's sleep. Just a mile or so in, I've come across this commemoration of a World War II aircraft crash. As it says, freedom comes at a cost. It's quite a bit warmer this morning. Got my legs out. The only trouble with the day is it's the longest day, 70 miles, the most climbing, about 3,000 feet of climbing, and the day I'm time pressured. I'm aiming to be back in Bury St Edmunds by 4 o'clock to catch a train. So not so much faffing about today. Need to be a little bit more focused and make up time on the road sections. Here's to a great day. It's 9 o'clock Sunday morning, and I've made it to the village of Eye in Suffolk. 14 miles gone so far, and only about 200 yards of gravel in 14 miles. So a little bit disappointing this morning. Hoping for a bit more this afternoon, else I'm going to be back in Bury St Edmunds way too early. One of the challenges here is the wide open spaces. The wind just has nowhere to dissipate. The wind blows across these fields straight into you. There's no hedges to hide behind. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, 35 miles in and another 35 miles to go. It's been hard going this morning, strong tailwind, and the track, especially here, has been very rutted and slow going. There's been a good mix of gravel, especially for the last 10-15 miles or so. This is the best bit of gravel all day. What you'd almost call champagne gravel. The headwind has been a killer. It's been on the nose all the way. And if I have one Achilles heel, it's riding into a headwind. So this is a bit of a kicker. I've stumbled across this sign. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do. Almost done. 7 miles to go. Just stopped for double cake. The sand and the headwind took it out of me. That's my excuse anyway. So they easily make the 4 o'clock train. Everything's gone really well. The bike's been flawless. The navigation's been flawless. The accommodation's been good. Food's been good. And most of all, the weather's been good. The headwind I was complaining about earlier on has turned into a tailwind, pushing me back into Bury St Edmunds. So, end of a fantastic 4 days. If you're thinking about doing the Wolf Way, I thoroughly recommend it. Yes, there are some long road sections, but this last day really does make up for it. The amount of gravel, the quality of the gravel really does make up for it. Mission completed, back at Bury St Edmunds. A great 4 days. See you next time.